Hello everyone. The story of Jeanette Dubois, the woman who brought the iconic Willona Woods to life on Good Times, is one of brilliance, beauty, and bittersweet truth. And what happened after her passing has left fans heartbroken and full of questions. When news broke that the actress, singer, and writer had died peacefully in her sleep at her Glendale, California home in February 2020, the entertainment world mourned deeply. But when her funeral came and not a single cast member from Good Times attended, the silence spoke volumes, and fans were left wondering what really happened behind the scenes of one of television's most beloved shows. Why did the family of Good Times, people she worked with for years, laughed with, and helped make history with, not show up to say goodbye? Was it distance, timing, or something deeper? The kind of Hollywood tension and old emotional scars that never truly healed? What has since come out about Jeanette's final years, her relationships, and the truth about the Good Times cast has been both eye-opening and heartbreaking, shedding light on a woman whose legacy still glows, but whose final farewell exposed painful cracks in a once glorious TV family. To understand why no one from Good Times attended Jeanette Dubois' funeral, we have to go back to where it all began, to a show that broke barriers and made television history. Good Times, which aired from 1974 to 1979, wasn't just another sitcom. It was one of the first shows to depict a black family in the inner city, struggling with real social and economic issues, yet doing so with laughter, love, and strength. Jeanette's character, Willona Woods, the confident, glamorous, and witty neighbor who always had something to say, became a fan favorite. She wasn't just comic relief. She was a voice of empowerment, style, and warmth. But behind that laughter, tensions on the Good Times set ran deeper than fans ever realized. There were creative conflicts, contract disputes, and emotional friction that would shape relationships for decades to come. Jeanette, who had started her career in Broadway musicals and had written and performed the iconic theme song "Movin' On Up" for the Jeffersons, was already an accomplished artist by the time she joined Good Times. But as the show gained popularity, so did the disagreements behind the scenes. Many fans remember how John Amos and Esther Roll, who played James and Florida Evans, were both outspoken about the direction the show was taking, feeling it relied too heavily on comedy rather than portraying real black family life. When John Amos was fired and Esther Roll temporarily left the show, it fractured the spirit of the original cast. While Jeanette kept things professional, insiders say she never forgot the tension and lack of unity that plagued the show's later years. Some crew members claim she often felt underappreciated, especially compared to Jimmy Walker's breakout character, J.J. Evans, whose over-the-top humor began to dominate the series. Still, Jeanette remained gracious, professional, and focused. But even as the cameras stopped rolling, it became clear that the tight-knit image the show projected on screen didn't always match the relationships off-screen. Over time, many of the cast members drifted apart. Jeanette, in particular, focused on her music, community work, and raising her children. She became deeply private, rarely attending reunions, not engaging in public feuds, and quietly maintaining her dignity while others occasionally spoke publicly about the show's behind-the-scenes drama. Esther Roll, who passed away in 1998, had also expressed frustration about how certain storylines developed, particularly those that reinforced stereotypes. While both women respected each other deeply, their personalities were reportedly very different. Esther, stern and spiritual; Jeanette, playful and vibrant. Those differences sometimes created distance rather than closeness. When Jeanette passed away, her death was sudden. At 74, she had shown no signs of serious illness, and her family described her passing as peaceful. The funeral was a small, private affair, something she herself had requested. She wanted no spectacle, no Hollywood production, just a quiet goodbye among her closest family and a few lifelong friends. But when photos and reports from the service surfaced, fans immediately noticed who wasn't there. No None Jimmy of the Walker, main Good Times no cast. Bernadette Stanis, no Ralph Carter, and of course, Esther Roll and John Amos had already passed or were unable to attend. The absence shocked the public. How could a cast that made history together not come together one final time for the woman who helped make Good Times what it was? Bernadette Stanis, who played Thelma Evans, later addressed the issue in an interview, and her words revealed a painful truth. She said she had not been informed about the funeral until after it happened. By the time I heard, she explained, it was over. Jeanette was a very private person, and her family honored her wishes. According to Stannis, there were no ill feelings, just unfortunate timing and miscommunication. But some insiders and entertainment reporters have speculated that the distance between the Good Times cast members over the years may have made communication difficult. They weren't as close as fans believed, one source said. There wasn't any feud or bitterness, just decades of separate lives, careers, and silence. Jimmy Walker, in his usual candid fashion, also commented on the matter years later. He said that although he didn't attend the funeral, he had always respected Jeanette's talent and believed she was one of the most underrated actresses in television history. We were a TV family, not always a real one, he said during a radio interview. You love people, you work with them, you share laughs, but after the show ends, everyone goes their own way. That's just life. His honesty struck a chord with fans. It reminded people that Hollywood friendships often fade once the spotlight dims. Not out of hate, but out of the natural distance that comes with time. But there's also another layer to this story, one that speaks to Jeanette's quiet grace and independence. Friends close to her say she never wanted a public farewell. She didn't seek tributes or red carpets. She wanted peace. She told me she didn't want people crying or making a big deal, one friend revealed. She said, "When I go, let them remember me smiling." And that's exactly what her family did. They honored her wishes for privacy, even if it meant leaving her Hollywood family out. Still, the emotional aftermath lingered. Bernadette Stannis admitted that she wept when she found out Jeanette had passed, regretting that they hadn't reconnected in years. We used to talk about our kids, about life, she said. But life just moves fast, and sometimes you think you have more time. That haunting reflection resonates with many fans who've experienced the same. The pain of realizing that time has slipped away before we could say goodbye. In the months following her death, tributes poured in from across the entertainment world. The Jeffersons cast members, singers, and actors who had worked with Jeanette celebrated her contributions. Tyler Perry even posted a heartfelt message, calling her one of the most versatile and underappreciated performers in television history. Her legacy, particularly through Good Times and the Jeffersons, became a point of renewed appreciation for how Black actresses in the 1970s broke barriers for generations to come. Jeanette wasn't just an actress. She was a writer, composer, and producer. She co-wrote and sang one of the most famous TV theme songs of all time, "Movin' On Up," which continues to bring joy to millions. Her funeral may have been small, but her impact was monumental. Fans around the world created their own memorials, sharing old clips, favorite scenes, and personal stories about how Willona Woods had inspired them. Many remembered how she took in Penny, the young girl played by Janet Jackson, giving television one of its most powerful portrayals of love and protection. Even Janet herself, now an international superstar, posted a touching tribute saying, "I am so grateful in my heart that I got to know such a beautiful soul." So why did no one from Good Times attend Jeanette Dubois' funeral? The truth, when stripped of speculation and rumor, seems to be a mixture of privacy, timing, and the reality of human distance. Her family kept the ceremony small. Her co-stars weren't informed until it was too late, and the passage of decades had left them scattered across the country, living separate lives. Yet, even in their absence, their love for her was never in question. In the end, Jeanette Dubois didn't need a star-studded farewell. Her life was her tribute. Her laughter, her sass, her unforgettable voice. That was her legacy. She didn't leave this world unnoticed. She left it celebrated. The Good Times cast may not have been there in body, but they were there in spirit, in every memory, every rerun, every line of dialogue that still brings people joy. And maybe that's exactly how Jeanette would have wanted it. No tears, no fuss, just the echo of her laughter ringing through time, reminding us all that even when good times fade, the love behind them never truly dies. Thanks.